Hello everyone, this is Sijas from Coding with Sijas and welcome back to the channel. This is the 19th video in the UI5 series. So if you're watching this series for the first time, do click the link above to access the entire playlist. That way, you can get to know what we have done until now and continue from there. And if you haven't subscribed this channel yet, do consider the subscribe. Also, share this playlist with your fellow developers who's interested in learning UI5 and make a career out of it. Without any more delay, let's jump to today's topic. In the last video, we have seen how to connect a non-SAP REST service to an UI5 application. We were able to perform a read operation and display data into a table. In this video, we will see how to perform a CUD operation with the same service. Let's see how to implement that. Here we have the project on which we were working in the last video. So you can go to the Git link which is provided in the description and go to the main branch to see the part 1. So today we will create a new branch out of the existing Git repository and implement our CUD operations. The first thing I do is to create a new branch and call it part 2. So now I have a new branch called part 2 and let's run this. Now it's loading our application. So we can see the list of employees which is coming from the service. Now let's create a detail page where you can see this information. For that, first let me go to view and create a new view file. Folder file. So the vscode extension we have installed will take care of creating a basic template. So you can see that as soon as I created a view, it give a basic template, and also here I have the controller. Let me copy the controller name from here, or the controller fully qualified name, and I'll paste. Now let me go to the manifest and add a root. So this is the basic root where when you have it, and you can see in the playlist there is a section where I'm explaining about roots. So go to the playlist and go to the video which talks about roots to understand more about routing. So I'll create a new object and the name of the root is details, pattern, nothing but pattern which is appearing on the URL. So let's we will be passing the user ID pattern. Target is information about the view which should be loaded. We haven't created target yet. Give a name called details here. Copy the details, type targets section, create a new. So basically everything is same. I'll just need to copy. View, it's slide translation, everything. This is details, so view ID can be details. You can give any name, but view name is details. So we have loaded the app as you can see, but there is no way we can navigate to the detail page right now. So let me go to our initial view, and so we have to make our column list item as type navigation, press event or navigate, right? So as soon as I convert to navigation, you can see there is a navigation icon coming here, a chevron icon. So now let me go to initial controller. So here we have the coordinate. I'll create a new function. The details, parameters o event, Now with this O event, you can get the O source, get source. I also need a router, navigate, so dot get router. We have router instance. Now I need the context of the row which I have clicked, so I do it by host dot get binding context. Once I get the context, I need the ID, so that would go context dot get ID. Now with this information, I should be able to navigate. So dot to name as details. Parameter we are passing is with this info, be able to navigate the detail page. Breakpoint and error. Yes, we are in the detail page. This is yeah, the navigation is working perfectly fine. The only thing we need is to show some info here. Before that, let me also, you can see here we are passing the user ID, but this user ID cannot be used to resolve the path of our object in the model. Reason being, let me put a breakpoint in the user service. The initial controller, let me put a breakpoint. Let me come here. The item. You could see here the O context, the path is user /4, where 4 is the index of the item in the array, and this will change based on your sorting order and everything. So we will never be able to pinpoint to a user data from that line number 4 or the index number 4. So currently that row, that object is at the index 4, but based on a different sorting order, this will change. So we have to first bring a design such that the user ID is being referred. So to do that, what we can do is we'll go back to our user service. Have a user service in the model, and you see here we are getting data in an array format, and we are directly pushing it into the to the model. So before doing that, what I would do, I'll create a new variable called oData, who's of type object. O models or users, we get O users, which is array. I'll do map, a callback function O user, a single user. Here I say oData of O user dot O user. Now with this, I can simply set it back to, let's see how it looks now. So the data is being read back. The data is read. So let me click on this point here. You see now the context is changed with the user ID instead of the user index. Now with this, we have a proper context of user, and that user ID can be resolved to create an instance of the binding context. So this is pretty much a simple concept. So many people, when they read data from backend, you get an array format and you directly save that in the same array. And when you navigate, you will be using the S path for navigation, and that will be like, you know, the path 0, 1, 2, 3, which is always wrong to use in a proper application development. You should always be able to use the key of your data to navigate, and that key should be able to resolve the object back to you. Now with this, we have an empty page here, so let's give some space. And I need to have a footer here where I will be able to bring the save and delete buttons. I should have a form here. The best example to bring a form is called simple form. So I'll just go to our demo kit. Meanwhile, I'll just create a simple view. So I'll introduce to a view called semantic page. So it's called sap.fm.semantic page. So here we have f.semantic page. The semantic page can have positive action. Positive action is nothing. A positive action. The text can be given as save. If I don't give anything, it will be as, let's see that. What if I don't give anything? It shows apply. So why it is not showing right now is because by default footer is hidden. So enable the accept. So I don't want it to be accept. I want to call it a save. And need another negative action. So delete negative action. Perfect. So I have a save and delete. Now let's go back to the I'll just single group. So this looks good to me. So I'll go to the change form. I can paste it directly. Okay, format this. Do fine. Now we have a content default aggregation. Pasting the simple form here, and obviously I'm pasting something like that. I proper, the name spacing, which is done here. And with this, if I refresh my page, be able to see a simple page. I don't need this. Go to I1 and redo things. So first thing is a name. So ID is good, and our property name, which find us called name. So name done. Perfect. So I'll repeat this. Need one for email. So here our model name is email, and after that we have gender. So that's the select control, selected key. The this gender, male and female, text capital, male, female. Okay, I need another label, so let me keep status is status but active. So we have basically the setup is done for the view, but as you can see, there's no data coming up. So the data, first thing, let me go to the detail controller. We don't have anything here. On-init method. So in on-init method, what I would need first is same as our initial controller. I need an instance data repository. I'll put it data repository. Also, I need an instance of router, so get the, we have already done it in the initial controller. This dot get owner, get router. We have the router instance. Perfect. Now what we need to do is, using oRouter, we need to attach an event for each pattern which is matched. Get root. Our root name was details. So for the root details, pattern matched, I'll call a function dot for the dot. With this, I have a function. That function is not there yet. I'll create the function. We call with an event. So now we this the params. So we have passed some parameters while navigating, so that we will get it. Dot parameter name argument. Under arguments, we will be able to find all the parameters passed by the application. So let's put a breakpoint there and let's see that. So let me go to details controller. I'll put a breakpoint here. I'll refresh. You can see oEvent.get parameters. If I press F10, you should be able to see values in it. User ID is already there. So that's a parameter which passed from the previous screen. Now let me call it as SID. Params dot user ID, right? Now I need data repository because I want to know whether data is available in my data repository or not. So I store data repository variable. Now in this data repository, another thing I need is the models. Get we have the model with us, so only thing we need to use is create an sPath here. Path. What is sPath? SPath is the path in the model. The user slash. So this is the path. So we put, release a breakpoint. Again, it should be here. So SID, as you can know, it is user. sPath is the path in the model for that. So user slash this one. And O model is this. So if you can write in the console, O model dot get proper sPath, it should return me data. If it doesn't return anything, it means the data is not available, right? So let me just get an O user, and it says O user whether it has a data or not. sPath. Perfect. So now we know whether sPath has data or not. So we can simply write a condition O user is undefined available. It means I need to read the data. So for that, what I can do is I will get an data repository record. So in user service, we have a function user. Let me close the initial controller because we are done with it. We are done with it. Here, dot read user with the data of right. And if it is available, then we just need to do simply a binding. Dot enter. We'll pass the sPath. Let's find the bind view method. Bind view. What does bind view do? Bind view takes the parameter sPath, it binds it. Syntax is this: get view dot bind element so let me refresh the screen. We don't have any data. We have not implemented the read single user yet. I'll just go back. Reads my entire data when mail. Now come down. You can see users have data. So release the breakpoint, and you can see thing is done. You select some mail inactive. Point, and we are here. This actually shows all our information. Now, what if I refresh here? When I'm refreshing here, as I mentioned, this data is not available because we have not read the data. So I have to read the single user details. For that, let me go back to the user service. I'll just copy whatever we have done. Another get call we are implementing here. Only difference is, instead of reading the entire users, we will be reading the SID of the only this user. Everything is same, the token is same, and you get O user here. Right? This oData is but model dot get data. So once this is done, then to the oData I will be getting the user, and instead of map, I don't need a map anymore because it's only one data. Add data dot user ID. So let me save till here. As you can see, the data is already loaded. How it works? Let me go to user service, click the breakpoint over here, and I'll refresh. Read call is triggered, and we have the data coming up, and we are just seeing that in oData model, you get the data, you get this data here, and you just set it to the object saying the user ID is this user, and set it back to the model. So with this, we have everything read properly. By through 230 is the user. So let me say Ujjwal Kaul here and refresh here, and I should be seeing Ujjwal Kaul back in my data. Perfect. This is done. Now let's implement the create scenario. So what is create scenario? Again, let me open the and here create scenario is basically I need to add a toolbar spacer. Bring the separation between the add button and button here. This icon is accept add icon plus button. Okay. I have a plus button here. So what should happen? You click on press. Should call create new. Create new function will be called. Now let me go to the initial controller and let's create a new. So do we have a root now? Not yet. So we only have two roots, one for the main page, list page, and another one for the detail page. So I'm thinking to reuse the detail page itself for the create scenario as well. So let me go to manifest to create a new root. I'll be using same pattern. Everything is same. The only difference is create. So name will be create of user/user ID. Just we can reuse the same target. So details is still same. Now let me come back to initial controller. I just need two things from here. The router. Another one is the navigate line. Here I'm not passing any parameters or anything. Empty. Here I'll just. So let's see. Refresh. Click on create. It navigates to here. And now let's do the magic for create as well. Closing initial controller, closing the magic. Now in details controller, now we have seen here how to create, how to attach a pattern match details. So similarly, we need to do another one more. For create, the new method what we will call is, I'll call it as for create new user. That's another method. So go here and create. That will do the exact same thing the guy does. I'm here, right? Now I need a model, obviously. This is where I will be putting my data in. And now let me create an O user instance, because I need an empty model to be bound. So O user is something I create. The template is name is empty, and male is by default. The gender I'm giving it as female. Status, and obviously I need an ID, so I'll give it as underscore 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 3 underscore and dummy, because this is a dummy object. This doesn't exist in real world. So once I get the user, I'll create an S path out of it. It will be something like slash this plus O user dot ID. Now I need to set this thing the model. I need the data from the model. So get property. So I have the user data with me. I need to push my new record into it. That is data of user of ID. So the dummy key will add value for O user. Format it. Now we will set it back to the model. O model dot set users this. Now we can call the bind view with the S path. Bind the model. Copy this. Save. Now we have saved everything, and you can see. Okay. Check again. Go to details. We go to the create turn page. Let's see whether it hits or not. It is hitting there. oData, it's empty data now. We have the user object with us, and with user object we have created an S path, and with S path we have injected data dummy, name, everything, gender is female, and status is inactive, and ID is dummy. I'll go here. Please, the breakpoint in path is dummy. Okay, I think we missed one more thing. Again, breakpoint, and I'm here with S path slash dummy dummy. Is it set the data? So here also I made it a mistake, that is and slash this, refresh in, and spath slash this slash. You can see female inactive is coming here. I'll go here, I'll do this back. When I click on plus button, I enter some value here. When I come back, you see there is this unsaved item here, but we don't know whether it is saved or unsaved. What we do is we'll clearly give an indicator. So anything which is read from backend, that is from here, we need to call it as saved item, right? So I'll just get this off. Is saved. We'll pass it as boolean true. Now the same thing I need to copy in the read single users as well. So we have is saved equal to true. So let me go back. So anything created old will be having is saved as true, and which is already saved. And when you create a new item, we will give is saved as false. So in the user details here, we were creating a dummy object. So false. Now, how do we depict that in the UI? What we can do is in the API reference, if you go to the list base, you could see there is a property called highlight we can use. Code. So there is a property, right? List base item. Highlight takes basically the success, error, you can see here enumeration, message type, or indicator color. So let me go back to my initial view, and at the column list title, I'll give this property called highlight. Now I'll do a expression binding here. If is saved is true, then the response is success, else it is. Now with this, let me refresh my application, and you can see everything saved is, okay, let me just minimize it part a little. You can see everything is green. I click on plus button, there's something back, you can see that is red. So that means this is a newly created item. And every time if you see that I cannot have more than one dummy item, because I'm always using the same ID called underscore dummy. Right? Now let's implement the save scenario for the detail. So now it makes sense when you click on plus button, there is nothing to delete. So the delete button should not be there. Your end, right? So what we can do is we can assign a visible flag for this and be available if it is saved item. So immediately our delete will disappear because it's not perfect. Now let me go back to edit, right? So when user clicks on save, it should. So for that, let me do and attach and save. And for delete, delete. Perfect. Copy the trigger save and save as a function with O. Similarly, the trigger delete is also a function. Same Now we have to get the instance and everything. So as well, we get a event where, or I can just say I don't need an event or anything actually, because I'm working on a view and with only one context in it. I can get get view dot get binding, and the object currently I'm working is O dot get object. Right now, what's the differentiating factor? Saved. So if I currently am working, it is a saved item, then I need to call data repository dot update. Created an update user, and it should be able to pass the user ID ouser.id. Also pass the data user, and what should happen once the save is completed? It should go back to the previous screen. So I'll pass a callback function. Yes, then callback. Simply navigates back to view, previous view, right? So also once the save is completed, it should reload the data, all the read users. That shows read user, and completed window dot tree dot back by -1. So once the read is completed, it should. Now I'll pass this callback. What if it is not a saved entry? If it is not a saved entry, you have to call the create user. And user service may we have create user, and we don't have a user ID, we just have the data what we want to save and the callback, no else part. This much is done here. So let's create the update user method. In update user, again it's the same syntax of jQuery get update can be performed with put operation or post operation. Put operation and patch operation. Yeah, you could see here update is nothing but put or patch. So use jQuery dot checks here. Third is but put, and as we mentioned, have the user ID, we user, also we have the other three things. What user ID is used to get the base URL, and the additional header we need is, if you look at the API, the update user, we should be able to accept as content application JSON. So let's give a accept flag. Now another thing what you have to notice is here we also have a content type application JSON, but best part of Ajax is that it takes care of the content, because for you is already move these a call function. Yeah, page I have Ujjwal Kauls. I'll come here and I save. You can see it's already saved. So once I refresh it, When if I refresh it, it's saved in the perfect. So I'll go back, towel back, saved, it goes back, reads everything, and it was completed. The next is create scenario. Again, the syntax is same. That the difference is we of oData. We have pin callback. Now oUser is the data we are passing, which is the method is nothing but post, and I don't need a user ID at all. And pretty much that's it. So with the users, you're making a data saved, it should good. I'll press Sijas. Mail and active. On save, so this company we go perfect. Saved. Just is saved. It took some time to basically finish it. I think that's the reason why it didn't. So let me just go and create another user. Inactive view. The delay what we see. Save users is taking some time to figure everything, but yeah, it's perfect. I mean, it took some time to read also to complete, and that's it. So with this, we have implemented the create and update operation. Now the last one is delete. So delete also is very simple. Let me go back here. All you need is first part of create. Click, copy this much. Here, still need context, we still need the user, still need the function callback, everything. Now, the last thing is delete user. We will be calling the delete user. I mean, it's up to you to provide a dialog, a confirmation dialog before. Back to you. Delete user. In delete user, you only need the user ID and the function callback. You're not saving anything, you're deleting the user. Tails, like back here, delete user, delete users. Done. So I clear it, and once I come to user service, I'll again copy the same thing. The difference is the operation is not but delete, and there is no data, there is no. With this, we will delete. So I'll go ahead and delete the on delete. It's deleted. Fresh. Gone. So I click on yes, and it's gone. So that's the delete. So here we have seen how we can implement the COD operations using an external REST API. So the data repository which we have used plays as a intermediate role to communicate between the oData layer and the REST layer. So from the UI5 perspective, you see there is no much difference between how you interact with an oData service or with the REST service. So everything seems to be working together. It's up to you how you design it, and obviously this is a basic application. You always need to have a confirmation dialog before you delete. You also need to have a confirmation dialog, or a pre confirmation whether the data which you're saving is correct, and also obviously for the update as well you need a confirmation dialog, because all these things are modifying the existing data. But I think with this you get a clear idea how you can integrate it. And for more videos like this, I always request to subscribe this channel so that you get more updates on more and more content like this. So that's for today. See you folks in the next video. Bye bye.